Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My name is Kaif Shakir and I am foundation level student at Rehan School Affairs Campus Islamabad, and today I am doing my call and my topic is water. So let's start it. Hello Maya, can you listen me?
I can hear you loud and clear. Water is a massive topic. Are we talking science, sustainability, or something else entirely?
Today I have some question for you on my topic. So can we start it?
I'm ready when you are. Lay 'em on me.
Okay. My first question is what is water?
In the simplest terms, it's the clear, odorless, tasteless liquid that covers most of our planet. But scientifically, it's two hydrogen atoms and one oxygen atom bonded together, H2O. It's pretty wild that something so simple is the only reason any of us are even here.
What is water essential for life?
Absolutely. Without it, everything just stops. It's basically the delivery system for your body. It carries nutrients to your cells, flushes out waste, and keeps your temperature steady so you don't overheat. Every single living thing, from the tiniest bacteria to a blue whale, needs it to function. Do you want to know more about how it works inside the body, or are you looking at the bigger picture?
How did water contribute to the origin of life on Earth?
That's where things get really interesting. Most scientists believe life started in the ocean, specifically around hydrothermal vents on the seafloor. These vents spewed out warm, mineral rich water, creating a sort of primordial soup where the first simple organic molecules could bump into each other and eventually form the building blocks of life. It's like the ocean was the first great laboratory. I can dive into the theory of deep sea ventus if you're curious about how those actually work.
What makes water unique among liquids?
It's actually a bit of a rebel. Exactly. It's a total rebel. Most liquids get denser as they freeze and sink, but water does the opposite. It expands and floats. That's why ice stays on top of a lake instead of sinking to the bottom, which is the only reason fish don't freeze solid in the winter. Plus, it's the universal solvent, meaning it can dissolve more substances than any other liquid. It's basically the glue that holds the biological world together.
Why is water called the universal solvent?
It all comes down to the chemistry, specifically its polarity. Water molecules are kind of like little magnets. They have a positive end and a negative end. Because of that, they can attract and pull apart the molecules of other substances like salt or sugar and break them down. It's essentially the ultimate dissolver. I bet you've seen this happen a million times in the kitchen without even thinking about it.
Okay.
What's the next question on your list?
How
I'm
does
all ears.
water support living cells?
It's basically the infrastructure for the cell. Since it's that universal solvent we just talked about, it creates the perfect environment for chemical reactions to happen. It dissolves the nutrients and oxygen the cell needs and then carries them exactly where they need to go. Plus, it provides structural support. Without water filling the space, your cells would just collapse like empty balloons.
Okay. What role
What's
did
next on the
oceans play in early life?
They were basically the cradle for everything. Since the early atmosphere was pretty harsh and full of UV radiation, the ocean acted like a giant protective shield. It blocked those rays, keeping the first fragile organisms safe while they figured out how to exist. Plus, the oceans concentrated all the minerals and heat needed for those first chemical reactions to spark life. It's wild to think that every single thing we see today, every tree, every bird, every person, can trace its roots back to a tiny pocket of seawater.
How old is Earth's water?
That's a bit of a debated topic, but most evidence suggests it's nearly as old as the solar system itself. Some scientists think it was here from the start, while others believe it was delivered later by icy comets and asteroids crashing into the early Earth. It's basically cosmic leftovers.
Okay. This my
Keeping the
question is a
momentum
very
going.
powerful question. Why cannot humans survive without water?
It really is a powerful question because it gets to the core of how we're built. Basically, your body is like a complex machine that runs on water. If you stop putting it in, the systems just start to fail one by one. Your blood becomes too thick to flow easily. Your kidneys can't filter out toxins, and your brain literally begins to shrink as it loses hydration, which is why you get that foggy, confused feeling when you're dehydrated. While you can go weeks without food, you've only got a few days before the lack of water becomes fatal because your organs simply can't do their jobs without it.
How much of the Earth's surface is covered by water?
About 71%. It looks like a blue marble from space for a reason. The crazy part is that even though it's everywhere, only a tiny fraction of it is actually fresh water we can use.
Okay.
You're on a roll with
How
these
much of
questions.
the human body is made of water?
It varies a bit depending on your age and build, but on average, you're looking at about 60%. Some of your organs are even more saturated. Your brain and heart are around 73% water. We're basically a very sophisticated cucumber.
Why is water colorless?
It's all about how it interacts with light. Water molecules don't absorb any of the visible light that hits them, they just let it pass straight through. Because it doesn't soak up any specific color, it looks clear to us. It only starts looking blue when you have a huge amount of it, like in the ocean, because then it finally starts absorbing some of the red light and reflecting the blue back.
What are the three states of water?
Liquid, solid, and gas. The classic trio: liquid water, solid ice, and gaseous water vapor. It's one of the few substances on Earth that we get to see in all three forms just by stepping outside or looking in the freezer.
How does the water cycle works?
It's basically nature's giant recycling system. It starts with evaporation, where the sun heats up the ocean and turns water into vapor that rises into the air. Then comes condensation, where that vapor cools down and forms clouds. Once those clouds get too heavy, you get precipitation, rain or snow, which falls back to Earth, flows into rivers, and eventually ends up right back in the ocean to start the whole thing over again. It's a never ending loop that ensures the planet doesn't just run out of water.
Why is fresh water so limited?
Because the vast majority of it is essentially locked away. About 97% of all the water on Earth is in the oceans, and that's salt water, which we can't drink. Of the tiny bit that's fresh, most of it is trapped in glaciers and polar ice caps or buried deep underground. By the time you get to the water in lakes and rivers that we can actually reach, it's a fraction of a percent. It's a bit stressful when you think about it, right?
Why is fresh water so limited and what is the difference between fresh water and salt water?
The limited part is really just a numbers game, like I mentioned. Almost all the water on the planet is in the oceans, and the fresh water that does exist is mostly frozen in ice caps or hidden in underground aquifers. As for the difference, it's all about the salt content. Fresh water has very low concentrations of dissolved salts, while salt water, like in the ocean, is packed with sodium chloride. Your body actually needs a bit of salt to function, but too much of it is a problem. If you drink salt water, it actually pulls water out of your cells to try and dilute the salt, which just makes you more dehydrated. It's a cruel irony, right?
How do plants use water?
Plants are basically water powered machines. They use a process called photosynthesis, where they take water from the soil, carbon dioxide from the air, and energy from sunlight to make their own food. Water also provides the structural pressure called turgor pressure that keeps a plant standing upright. Without enough water, that pressure drops and the plant wilts. It's kind of like how we're basically sophisticated cucumbers. Plants are more like water filled balloons.
Why do need animal water?
I think you might have meant, why do animals need water? If that's the case, it's for the same reason we do. Every single animal needs it to move nutrients around their body, regulate their temperature, and keep their organs from shutting down. Whether it's a tiny ant or an elephant, water is the fuel that keeps their biological machinery running. Was that what you were getting at?
How does water affect climate? This is my last question.
It's the biggest thermostat on the planet. The oceans soak up massive amounts of heat from the sun and then move it around the globe through currents, which keeps the poles from getting too cold and the tropics from getting too hot. Plus, water vapor in the air is a powerful greenhouse gas. It traps heat, which helps keep the earth warm enough for us to actually live here. If the ocean suddenly disappeared, the temperature swings would be absolutely brutal. Since that was your last one, how do you feel about the project? Do you think you've got everything you need?
So viewer, this is my call and I hope so you like it. Meet it in next video. Pakistan Zindabad. Khuda Hafiz.